Hello again. One of the things I can't help noticing is the way that many people today suddenly notice something which has been happening for decades or centuries and then jump to the conclusion that it's a new phenomenon. Take deplatforming and left-wing students stopping people speaking who have different views to them. This is currently a big thing. People are worried that universities are closing down free speech, and it's all supposed to be something very much in keeping with some left-wing scheme or something that's going on that's only recently emerged. It's currently being portrayed in some quarters as saying something sinister about modern society. You know, the preventing other people speaking about their own views in this way. This is all nonsense. It's been going on for 50 years to my certain knowledge. On May the 8th, 1973, Professor Hans Eysenck, who's a very famous psychologist, had been invited to speak at the London School of Economics. I happened to be there on that occasion in the audience. Eysenck had taught Arthur Jensen, of whom some of you might have heard, and both men had the view that the difference in IQs, observed IQs that is, between black and white people was due at least in large part to genetic factors. Okay, it's a debatable point, but it was a reasonable point for Eysenck to make. He began his speech by announcing, I'm not going to say anything controversial, and I'm irresistibly reminded of the times that I've made a similar claim here. A crowd of students invaded the platform. They began punching and kicking him and spitting on him and all sorts of things. It was a dreadful business. The following month, Samuel P. Huntington, some viewers might have read Clash of Civilisations. Huntington's enormously famous. He was even back in the early 1970s, he was a well-known academic. He was due to give a talk at Sussex University in June 1973, and he was physically prevented from doing so. The following year, 1974, the National Union of Students adopted a policy to deny a platform to right-wing speakers, which meant anybody they didn't agree with. Anybody today who gets worked up about threats to free speech at British universities would do well to realise this isn't a new thing at all. It's been going on for at least half a century. I could give you examples, not to my personal knowledge, but things I'm aware of from the 1930s as well. This is something which has been going on forever, and there's no point people suddenly noticing it and pretending that it says anything significant about the modern world.